Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Making Legends, a series where we take legendary characters you know and love and build them in RPGs. For our second episode, we will be building Samira from League of Legends in D&D 5e. Now, let's lock and load to build, totally not Dante, Samira. But how do we build her? I like to make some core pillars for the character to be milestones that we strive for in the build, and Samira's core pillars would be firepower. I'm talking swords, guns, these guns, we need weapons and we need to use them. Inferno trigger, that means we need to deal damage with these weapons almost as quickly as we move. Finally, we need close approximations to her 5 league abilities and maybe some core items along the way. Now for stats, we are using a standard point-buy system. You can look up a calculator online. Dex will be our highest stat at 15. We shoot first and we shoot fast. We slide in, we slide out, we put our left foot in, we shake it all about. Hey, Macarena. This is our damage and our armor class. We need it. Next is charisma at 15 because, well, self-explanatory reasons. You're hot, you have panache, and you're stylish. After that, let's pick up con at 13. You're thick, and you're not a tank, but you are very hard to kill in League of Legends lore and game. Next, let's put our strength at 12. Handstands, cartwheels, tumbles, and flips all require a certain amount of strength, and you look like you work out. Next, let's dump intelligent at 8, because I don't think you ever went to school. Not that I think Samira is stupid, I just don't think she can really operate a hex deck hoverboard. Finally, let's drop wisdom to 8. You're not in the wisest of professions, and your perception is low because you are goal-focused. That's right, no ableism over here. She just keeps her eyes on the prize. Damn. Samira is a human with a lot of variance in her weapons. We're taking Variant Human. Variant Human gives you 2 points to put in your ability scores. Let's go Dex and Charisma. If you want to be really thick, you can put it into Dex and Con. Variant Humans also get a feat. Let's take the Lucky Feat, which gives you 3 luck points that you could use at any ability score, skill check, saving throw, or attack, which gives you an additional d20 to roll and you pick the result you want. You can also use a point if your enemy is attacking you and choose which roll they get to have. This is essentially generating advantage, which is how we stay stylish and how we stay perfect. If things aren't going your way, just make them go your way. Just remind everyone, it's not luck, it's skill. If you wanted to go a certain other double gun and sword character, I think Tiefling could work, but I think being a variant human with the Lucky Feat also applies to them as well. Now for background, we are going Entertainer, specifically the Gladiator Entertainer, which gives us proficiency in Acrobatics Performance, Disguise Kit, and a musical instrument, as well as a dope net and a lock of hair, for some reason. Acrobatics is intertwined with everything Samira does, and you cannot convince me that stylish fighting is not performing. But if you really don't like it, I'd go with the Far Traveler background. As for alignment, I would go with chaotic neutral. No one who fights like Samira does is lawful, and you follow the money. You're good one day, bad another day, but you always get paid. For our first level, let's go right into Fighter, which gives us 2 skills. Let's take Perception and Insight. Must-haves for a mercenary. Fighter also gives us a fighting style. If you want to be more of a Swordmaster, take Dueling. But this is more of a Gunslinger build, so we're going to take Ranged, which gives us a +2 on all range attack rolls. We also get Second Wind, which is a bonus action to heal 1d10 plus our fighter level once every short rest. This is a nice little heal, or if you want to attack and then use it, you could say it's Lifesteal or Omnivamp or something. Next, level 2 fighters get Action Surge, which allows you to take a second attack action once per long rest. This is an auto-Q auto combo, and it's more attacks. It's great. Level 3 fighters choose a martial archetype, and we are picking possibly my favorite martial archetype, the Renegade Fighter, from the Lost Tides of Bilgewater D&D Beyond expansion. How fitting we're actually using a Legends of Runeterra class here. If you didn't know Riot released D&D content with D&D Beyond, you should look it up after this video. It's great. They have a Pike Nautilus Barbarian and a Twisted Fate Rogue. Back to Samira. Renegade Fighters get a gun. That's right, we're going with the pistol form, which deals 1d6 plus our dex and damage and get extra attacks whenever we do in the fighter class. See, this is a weird special case because it doesn't say that the gun counts as a ranged or special weapon. So technically the ranged fighting style wouldn't work with the gun, but I don't see a problem with it. Just ask your DM. And by ask, I mean beg. It also specifically mentions that it's a flint lock pistol, but at 20th level you can attack 8 times with it in 6 seconds, so... On top of picking a gun, we can pick 2 upgrades from a special Renegade special upgrade list. For our minor upgrade, let's take Blade and Black Powder, which allows us to attack with our pistols at a 5-foot range without taking any disadvantage. We can also use our bonus action to attack with a blade that does 1d6 plus dex. This is kind of 2 feats and 1, and having consistent use of our bonus action as a fighter is amazing. Technically, Blade and Black Powder, like, materializes a sword out of nowhere for you to use. I would reskin it as a blade that you already have, and technically a rapier would be better for you because it does more damage, but you're not Fiora, you're Samira! For our major upgrade, we are taking Barrage, which allows you as an action to spray down a 15-foot cone in front of you, forcing a dex save or dealing 3d10 plus your dex modifier once per short rest. Wow. We are only level 3, but we already can do some sick combos and have our ultimate. Kinda. Oh, I almost forgot. Level 3 Renegades get an extra skill. Let's pick Persuasion. Convince people it's in their best interest to keep you well paid. Level 4 fighters get an ability score improvement, and Dex is the name of the game. Bump it up to 18. Level 5 fighters get an extra attack, which means whenever you take the attack action, you can attack twice. The Renegade pistol can also attack twice at this level as well. Technically, you only have 1 pistol, but I would just talk to your DM about getting 2 pistols. And if he's a stickler about how you attack with 2 pistols and the sword in 1 turn, just show him this. Bang! Bang! Go in the air! Grab sword! Slash! Sheath! Catch! Boom! Easy peasy, I think that's at least the C rank. Level 5 Renegades also get to pick a second minor firearm upgrade. I would suggest Crosshairs, which lets you, as a bonus action, gain advantage on all range attack rolls, provided you do not move that turn. So stay in place, use Action Surge, and light it up like a Christmas tree on the 4th of July at the Grinch's house. I don't know if that's funny or cringe. Level 6 fighters get an ability score improvement. Max out your dex and you are leagues ahead of your party in terms of consistent damage. 3d6 plus 15 damage at a range every turn. You can't Nova as well as a Paladin or Rogue, but this is every turn, assuming you hit. Level 7 Renegades get Cunning Shot, which allows you to ignore all resistances and immunities. What? As far as I know, this is the only ability that's like this, and it's crazy. This class has a way to deal fire and lightning damage, and both of those ignore resistances and immunities. Level 8 fighters get another ability score improvement. Let's take a feat, specifically the Magical Initiate feat. Bet you weren't expecting that. Magical Initiate lets you pick 2 cantrips and a first level spell from any full spellcasting class. You can cast the cantrips at will, but you can only cast the first level spell once per long rest. We're going to pick Warlock, and for our first cantrip, we're taking Magic Stone, which lets us touch 3 magical stones that deal 1d6 plus charisma damage when you throw them. Now it says stone, but I'd let you do this with a coin. The ultimate style for a fighter that can deal so much damage just to flick a coin at somebody, or a rose. For our next cantrip, let's take Prestidigitation. This one's a freebie. Clean the blood off your armor, make your coin shinier, put a firework behind you. Go nuts. For our first level Warlock feat, let's take Expeditious Retreat, which lets you take the dash action, which doubles your movement speed, as a bonus action for as long as you maintain concentration. It's called Expeditious Retreat, but for you it's more like Expeditious Go In. This is us running the Ghost Summoner spell. I would love to get Misty Step to represent Flash on every League of Legends build, but this is the best we're gonna get. It's time for a multi-class! Let's see if you can guess what we're doing. Pause the video now for more time. So for our 9th level, we are taking a level in Monk, which gives us Martial Arts, which lets us use our Dexterity for unarmed strike damage and gives us a 1d4 on our unarmed strikes. So this is a bit of a dead level, which is kind of the reason why I wanted so many fighter levels to get us perfect and online before we took this dip. And I know somebody in the comments is screaming because we dumped Wisdom, but we're going into Monk. But we don't really need it for anything. If your DM is a stickler for multi-classing minimums, then just switch your Wisdom with your Strength score. We actually don't need Strength for anything either. I just think Samira is stronger than she is wise. We also get Unarmored Defense, which makes our armor class 10 plus Wisdom plus Dexterity when we're not wearing armor. Which we are. I know wearing armor is like sacrilegious for a monk, but again, we don't really lose that much. The most we lose is 10 feet of movement, but we still get that when we're naked, and I mean, come on, you look like Samira. I don't know what goes on at your tables, but I doubt this will go unused. Second level monks also get unarmored movement, which increases your movement speed by 10 when you're naked, and key points, which is a special pool of points equal to your monk level that we could do for some cool shit. Key? Kai? I'm gonna say key. Now this gets you Flurry of Blows, which we don't need, Patient Defense, which is cool. For 1 key point, you can take the dodge action as a bonus action, or Step of the Wind, the one that we want. This lets you take Disengage or Dash as a bonus action for 1 key point, and doubles your jump distance. This is essentially your E dash in, dash out, do a flip, get creative. At 3rd level, we get a Monastic Tradition. We're choosing the path of the Kensai, which allows us to pick 2 weapons to count as a monk weapon. Sword, gun. That's right, your gun's a monk weapon. So Kensai monks can pick any weapon to be a monk weapon except for one that has the special or heavy property. And remember how I said that the Lost Sides of Bilgewater didn't make your gun a ranged weapon, so the ranged fighting style didn't technically count? Well, it didn't give it the special property either. So technically, there's nothing stopping your gun from being a monk weapon. Kensai monks also get Agile Parry, which gives you a +2 to AC when you attack with an unarmed strike, while holding a monk weapon. You're probably not going to use this, but I like the option. You also get Kensai Shot, which as a bonus action you add 1d4 to your range attack. If you can't get a sword off, this is okay. If you can't do anything else with your bonus action, might as well. You also gain proficiency with painter's supplies. Suddenly, your Samira is a painter. Don't question it, just roll with it. 3rd level monks get Deflect Missile, which allows you to use your reaction to reduce the damage of a range attack by 1d10 plus your dex plus your monk level. And if you reduce the damage to 0, you can spend a key point to throw it back. Don't do that. Do not with this build, no. This is Samira's W, but it's all the time. It doesn't cost anything. As long as you have a reaction, you can Royal Guard any ranged attack. 4th level monks get an ability score improvement. Let's take the Fey Touched feat, which gives us, that's right, Misty Step. I lied, Misty Step was in the plan the whole time. Misty Step lets us blink to an area up to 30 feet away as a bonus action. This is our flash summoner spell, once again adding to our incredible mobility. The Fey Touch feat also lets us bump our charisma by 1. We're gonna have 2 offsets for a little while, but it's okay, we scale. We also get a 1st level spell from either enchantment or deviation. Let's take Heroism. Use this on yourself, giving us immunity to fear and 10 hit points equal to our charisma modifier at the start of our turn for a minute, depending on concentration. This is our Bloodthirster shield or Immortal Shield. Immoral. This is our Bloodthirster shield or Immortal Shield Bow passive. 4th level monks get Slow Fall, which allows us to use a reaction to reduce falling damage by 5 times your monk level, back to 9th level fighter, which gives us Indomitable, which lets us reroll a failed saving throw. Morgana wants to root you? Just say no. 10th level renegades get Grin and Bear It. Whenever you use your second wind, you get +1 AC and +10 feet of movement till the end of your turn. Yeah, this sucks. Especially as a level 10 ability. But you do get to pick another major upgrade. Let's take Trial by Fire, which allows you to, as a bonus action, infuse your weapons with the power of fire. This deals fire damage equal to half of your fire level with all attacks. Remember, this fire damage ignores resistances and immunities. You can do this amount of times equal to your charisma modifier per long rest. 11th level fighters get another extra attack, meaning you attack 3 times with your pistol. I've run out of jokes, just shoot! 12th level fighters get an ability score improvement. Bump up your charisma and con, bumping up your HP and all of your spell stuff. 13th level fighters get an additional use of Indomitable. This is like Cleanse or Mercurial Scimitar. Mercurial? 14th level fighters get an ability score improvement. Max out your charisma to be the hottest bounty hunter in all of Runeterra. 15th level renegades get Right Gun for the job, allowing you to switch off major and minor upgrades at the end of a short rest. Take Lightning Round if you're fighting something weak to lightning, or that's pretty much it. We already have the best options. Now we finish with the 16th level of fighter. Upgrade your con by 2 or take the tough feat for an additional 40 hit points. It is such a relief to go from a full caster to a full martial class, but I did have Magical Initiate and the Renegade Fighter to keep it spicy enough for my liking. But now that we're done with the build, how good is it? First off, you are stylish and mobile as hell, with Expeditious Retreat and Step of the Wind giving you disengage and dash on a bonus action. Not to mention 3 attacks at a 30-foot range. No one is getting away from you. On top of that, with disengage, no one is getting close to you that you don't want either. You have a decent charisma to use outside of combat as well, but you're no bard. You are thick with 3 C's and a Q, with averaging out over 180 hit points, not to mention second wind, deflect arrows, and your mobility keeping you alive. You can also use your guns at a 5-foot range, so there is no reason for you not to be a frontline fighter, tanking foes and dealing out a ton of damage. Speaking of which, your consistent damage is nice. 3d6 plus 15 at 30-foot range with resistance and immunity penetration means that you're more reliable than anyone else at your team at doing damage. And you can use Action Surge and Trial by Fire to skyrocket that damage to 66 plus 78, assuming you hit everything. Now the bad. If you're sick of hearing me say bonus action, I'm sick of saying it. Fighters usually have little to do with their bonus action. This fighter has way too many things to do with their bonus action. And while options are good, much like Dante switching styles in the heat of combat, it could become cumbersome remembering all of your options. Like, do I want to Blade and Black Fire for some extra damage, Trial of Fire to nuke someone, or Misty Step to get away? Also, while your damage may be consistent, you're a marksman, not a burst mage. Even with Action Surge and Trial by Fire, you can't really beat the novel damage of a paladin or AoE damage of a sorcerer. Finally, your monk levels are kind of just there for flavor, and you'd probably be better off taking more fighter levels or maybe even sorcerer levels. But who cares about all that negative talk? You're here to get paid and look good. Just make sure you have a party of people to appreciate how stylish you are and do long division for you. Homebrew section. So this is a new section that I'm trying out to talk about possible homebrew stuff to get characters close to what we want them. Luckily, Samira is pretty close to a standard fighter, but we are missing the most important part about her. Her style meter. I've been a fan of Devil May Cry for a long while now, and in my experience, there really isn't something that replicates or gives you the feeling of a style meter. So for a homebrew, I would recommend talking to your DM about an item that keeps track of your style meter as you play. Samira's version in League of Legends works really well for a turn-based game, where you have to link together 6 unique moves to get an S. This forces the player to be more creative than a standard fighter than just whacking. Blade and Black Powder lets you stack up this somewhat quickly as well. As a reward, I think giving a player 5 feet of movement for every 2 stacks seems reasonable, and if they get an S, they can spend all those stacks to cast Fireball on themselves, or do something similar to Pathfinder's Whirlwind attack, where they roll 1 attack to all enemies in range. This is to replicate getting an S and popping Inferno trigger. It may be easy to put this on a sword or a gun, but I think it's more interesting to put this on Samira's eye patch or her hair accessories. It'd be attunement, of course. Probably legendary? That's it for me, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot and lets me see that you guys want more. And leave a comment telling me if you liked or didn't like the build, or what would you do different. Did I miss something? Let me know. Thanks for watching.